is the Ministry of Finance's post-budget forum, an interactive forum. When we come back, we will be taking questions again from the floor, from our guests who are here live with us, and opening up the phone lines and taking into account your text messages coming in from across Trinidad and Tobago, being directed to the Minister of Finance as well as the Minister of Food Production, Land and Marine Affairs. Sam.
Thank you, Francesca. And we have just about 20 minutes. We're going all the way to 10 o'clock, so make sure you get your phone calls and your text messages in. We'll come back right after this break. Welcome back to CNC3's live coverage of the post-budget forum being hosted by the Ministry of Finance. We want to get moving right along. I'll hand you back to Francesca Hawkins. We'll take it from there.
Thank you very much, Samson. Let's go directly to our audience. We've had a group here clamoring to ask a question in that break.
My name is Jensen Alexander. I represent the Agricultural Society of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Minister, we want to thank you for your budget. But we have some concerns in the budget that we didn't hear anything specific about labor. You know, in the agricultural sector, labor is one of, as our minister said, labor is one of the key that drives that market. So we didn't hear nothing clear about labor. And you talk about axe the tax. Now, when we're returning to the tax regime that we had before, how would this affect farmers? Because the previous government had put things in place so that farmers will have a reduction in their taxes. How would that affect us as farmers? And in terms of sustainable development, this is for my minister. I didn't hear anything about pack houses, because we are talking about farmers producing and having a bulk of tomatoes on the market. I have seen and we have discussion on it in Israel, where they have pack houses that can keep food for 2 years. What are we seeing so that farmers could have something that will continue to grow? And my last comment is on the Economic Development Board. Are we seeing agriculture? Who are the players on this board? And to you, my minister, I want to. This is from our sector. You know, the Prime Minister is telling you, serve the people, serve the people. From the Agricultural Society, we want to say to you, serve the people, feed the people, secure the people.
A response there for you, sir, and after that we'll take a break.
Well, with regard to the issue of pack houses, I want to assure you that that's certainly on my agenda. I've heard your President speak of the issue of pack houses. We've discussed that also. We know very clearly that if we are going to regulate supply effectively to match demand in the market, and if we are going to store quantities of produce so that we can ensure that in the event of any catastrophic event, we have a shortage, we must have pack houses. But more than that, the issue of the export markets require that we have quantities of produce so that we can give comfort to our customers abroad that we are in a position to continually supply them with the product and the produce that they require. So I want to give you the assurance that pack houses is certainly on my agenda in our 12-month plan. And with regard to your feed the nation, sorry, what was it? Serve the people, feed the people, secure the people. I think you've been part of our consultations, and you will know from the discussions that we've held over the last 3 months. Certainly that is the intention. We have every intentions of sticking to that commitment.
From here we'll take a short break. We'll be continuing in just a moment with questions from the floor, text messages and your phone calls.
You're viewing CNC3's live coverage of the Ministry of Finance's post-budget forum from downtown Port of Spain. Don't go away. Welcome back to CNC3's live coverage of the Post-Budget Forum being hosted by the Ministry of Finance. Remember, we are taking your calls at 627-3760. I believe Francesca Hawkins already has a caller on the line. Fran, over to you.
Thank you very much. Yes, we do have a caller from Cunupia with a question to address the team of ministers here before us. Good evening, caller. Caller from Cunupia.
Yes. Hi. My call is directed to the Minister of Finance. Hello?
Yes,
Hello,
go
yes.
right ahead.
Yes, my call is directed to the Minister of Finance. Minister, you said you spoke about the IOU, and you said it would be tradable at secondary, at the secondary market. Now that IOU, if my money matures in November, you said I'm getting 75% maximum. How soon? If I need that money, my children need to further their education, and I need to pay for that. I need my money. How soon will that IOU be tradable, and how much will I be getting in that IOU? And what if my money is maturing in November? Will I get the interest that in November that I still have running, or will I get zero on that money? Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller, addressing the
Well,
Kiko
I
issue.
am happy for the opportunity to try and explain that situation. What we did with respect to CLICO is we first of all divided the insurance business from the other business, which was short-term investment business. And we said with respect to the insurance business, we will propose to the CLICO organization that they honor their commitments on that business based on the statutory fund that is available. With respect to the short-term investment business, what we said is that as part of the entire program is that we will pay to everyone who may have had a short-term investment an initial sum of $75,000. For those who may have had a higher investment than $75,000, we will then issue to them a bond, a 20-year bond. But I must explain, the 20-year bond will be in annual units, so there will be 20 bonds. One for 1 year, one for 2 years, one for the third year, one for the fourth year. And that those who receive those bonds, if they keep it, they will be paid their principal at the end of it. It will not gain any interest during the course of the year, but they can get back their principal. That was the contracted principal that they had. If they wish, they can in fact trade it in the financial institutions by either selling it or using it as collateral, in which case it will be discounted by whatever the financial institutions determine. So there is a need for cash, they will do that. And this will go on for all these years. So you don't have to wait for 20 years. You can really trade your bond in the secondary market at a discount price. And that essentially, we'll have to explain this a little more, is this part of the program. We must recognize that it was quite possible that this government could have said to itself that they really could not find the $12 billion and $6 billion of resources to handle this problem. But we recognized that there was an obligation that had been made to the society. We also recognized that the previous administration had taken the wrong path on this matter, and by the inaction over 2 years have made the situation even more difficult. And in this way, we have provided a protection for the policyholders and for the short-term investors.
Mr. Minister, before we end this session, I think it's incumbent on me to focus your mind on a matter of extreme importance, which is a statement you made in the budget concerning changing course. Now, if you're changing course, means that you're going in a direction and you probably meet a fork in the road, or as the people are talking about, tipping point, Policemen are going to get $1,000 per month each. And that reminds us of the question of the free rider problem. Many people outside there are wondering, we don't trust the police. There's so many of them who might be criminal and corrupt. Why pay them another $1,000 a month? And that is linked to the whole question of how this society has been run. Dudley Sayers had a model that he called the open petroleum economy, where a Venezuelan Minister of the Energy said that oil is the devil's excrement. All these Trinidads and Nigerias and Venezuelans end up with, high inflation rates, unemployment, the Dutch disease kind of thing. In your budget statement, you repeatedly were saying that we're changing course. But some of the statements are focusing the mind on how difficult that is, like the $1,000 to policemen without any recourse to meritocracy or meritocratic payment. And that brings also the question of employment, where the wages fund that comes out of the rents from energy have been used since 1956 to create jobs. And while the trade unions and the public sector workers have bid up their demands for wages, it means that the government had less resources to invest or to create jobs. So you had a situation where while some were getting more, you had increasing unemployment. Now, changing course must mean that this government is prepared to get the people to go along with a different understanding of how you're dealing with generating income, generating jobs, generating employment, generating, as you said earlier on, onshore industry. And I wanted to make some comments on that in the context of Mr. Watson Duke and the public service associations. We just talked about the police. We talked about all the other people who are demanding, they want $20 minimum wages. How is the changing course to be consistent with all these demands, which seem to be consistent with how we were going along all the time?